The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
I will have to play a different intro when I go to edit this because we're not in front of a live streaming audience.
It's fine.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast.
News?
I guess? We've only done this one other time, and that was 6 months ago, and I don't remember what we did then. But yeah, this is supposed to be the monthly news segment of The Cellcast. It's our semi-monthly.
Yes.
That's at least what we discussed.
Yes.
But so our episodes can remain more evergreen. I
Keep
guess.
Keep our audience in the loop.
Indeed. So, why don't we go ahead and jump into
The news.
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you. And going into the news of January 2025. Yes, it's a new year, people. Mm-hmm. So, going into the bit of news that's been going on for the last month. All right, starting off in January 2nd, following the big merger with Max. So, here's an interesting part at the very beginning of the year.
yeah.
Our Warner Bros. Discovery decided to start taking stuff off their server, off Max.
Yes. Well, they were doing some of that last year too.
Yes,
but I guess last year they're mostly just not approving stuff.
Right. And so from this article from the first, I do normally get all my news from animemagazine.com. So if you want to go backlog, a lot of this is still there. So in September, started eliminating full episode streaming through the CartoonNetwork.com. On August, Warner Bros. Discovery has dropped more Cartoon Network series and shows from its Max streaming offering. The shutdown of other streaming options were accompanied by a push to move users to Max. Because let's see. The new year is less than happy for nostalgia seekers looking for stream early seasons of Teen Titans Go, along with others of Ed and Eddie, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Maddie, Static Shock, and many more. So on the site, the article itself, it does go into where you can find these now, which to me, it's why in the world would you take away more content that your audience really wants to watch? Because,
So this is it leaving Max.
Yeah, this is stuff leaving Max.
So this is Warner Brothers saying, "Oh, we don't want to support our own streaming service with the content we own."
Sounds like it.
And it's going elsewhere. So obviously they're shopping it around to other audiences.
Yes.
They just aren't putting it on their own. Probably because if I'm guessing, to get it on some of these, they may have to be signing some exclusivity agreements. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And that could be the reason why it's leaving Max while it's going elsewhere, because they want to get it in front of different eyes.
That's possible.
But I am just guessing. Max, the whole history of Max has been a very strange one. Because it started off as HBO Go, which was just doing HBO stuff.
Yeah.
And then it became HBO Max when they put all the Warner Brothers stuff in there. And then they distanced themselves from HBO and just called themselves Max.
Right.
And I think still you can get a connection to it through your cable subscriber.
Yes.
If you have one of those, just like you would with HBO. And I'll be honest, Max might be the site I go to the least. For in terms of streaming when I'm looking for something to watch for streaming, just because, well, all the other ones generally have bigger selections.
Sure.
I don't think of Max. I'll be honestly. I do go there sometimes. I go, oh yeah, I hadn't been on that one in a while. Let's see what's there.
Yeah.
But admittedly, they haven't had anything that was exclusive that I wanted to see, which is how these streaming services make their business. is on
Yes.
exclusives. So
Yes.
I don't know.
All right, so following that up with more news from the beginning of the year. So obviously we all know that Sonic the Hedgehog, in the beginning of the year at least, was doing very well. And apparently at the beginning of January 1st, Mufasa the Lion King was actually ahead of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is very surprising if we look forward to the other bit of news.
Well, I know that Sonic was beating Mufasa originally on the same because they both came out the same day.
Yes.
I can see how maybe Mufasa may have a little more staying power.
Possibly.
And I'm sure Disney just keeps putting it out there, and Sonic probably, even as well as it was doing, probably fell off fairly quickly.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
All right, so
Don't know for certain.
Again, this article is from the 2nd of January. Let's see. Two furry favorites prove box office heroes on New Year's Day, powering the first box office receipts for 2025 in an estimated $42.9 million, the best post-COVID holiday return yet, and 33% of January 1st, 2024. So this is just more rundown of that particular weekend. Let's see, going forward in a little bit of news. DreamWorks Animation, their critically acclaimed Wild Robot. We haven't reviewed that because it was just it wasn't on the. I don't want to say it was on the radar. It was something that we just never got around to.
It was on the radar, but I don't think either one of us at the time it came out. I don't think we could. We scheduling was a little weird. I think that month.
Yes,
I did go see it because I had a free night, but I missed those.
Don't we all in some cases? All right, so apparently, let's see. They are looking to bring. They've already. I can't talk this morning, this afternoon, whenever we're recording this. So apparently, right now, for those who are fans of the Wild Robot, apparently it's on Peacock right now, and it was put on Peacock on the 24th of January. Let's see. It's based on the #1 New York Times bestseller by Peter Brown, and the book had been nominated for. The film itself had been nominated for 4 Golden Globes, 3 Critics' Choice Awards, and 10 Annie Awards. So yeah, if you were a fan of Wild Robot, I think it's already out on physical media, I believe. Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
So many of these now just they're in theaters for maybe a month or two, and then a break, and then they're out on video the third month. They're streaming at the time, and then they'll eventually get around to physical media. All right, this one I thought was interesting. I don't know if I would watch it, but it was the same. So Crunchyroll welcomes in the new year with the same day launch as the English language dub, possibly this is the title of the anime in questions on Crunchyroll. Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time, starting on January 1st. And I just thought it was I saw the trailers. Okay, this looks interesting. So I just thought I would put it out there, like, hey, there's this new anime out there. It's got the English dub already. What's it called?
Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time.
Okay, that's I should have known that because it's as a normal anime, modern anime naming schemes. I thought that was just a description somebody was giving for it. Sorry,
that's what was in the title.
Yeah, the title is possibly the greatest alchemist of all time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. All right. So Paramount on January 6th announced the Sonic the Hedgehog film franchise based on the Sony video games had surpassed
Sega video games?
Sega, that's what I meant to say. Sega video games had surpassed $1 billion in the box office rate worldwide as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 continues to draw audiences to theaters around the globe. This follows a recent announcement that the studio is developing a fourth Sonic the Hedgehog film. I'm looking forward to it. There again, it's more financial. Not finance, but franchise fatigue or franchise burnout.
It's going to depend on a lot of things with that. The rumors I'm hearing about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is that there's going to be a time travel element to the episode, to that particular movie,
Right.
Which makes sense with Metal Sonic and Amy being in it. It very much is throwing a bone towards the game Sonic CD,
Right.
but when did it say it was supposed to be, like 2026?
Yeah,
or is it
something like-
2027?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say.
I want to say
They were shooting for probably 2026, 27.
probably that would make the most. Well, you gotta have time to shoot all that and do all the special
Right,
effects
so it's
for
probably
it.
27.
Probably 26, 27, somewhere in there. There is an issue of franchise fatigue. It's going to depend on if how much they do in between these films. It's like if they do like another series like Knuckles,
Right.
That's hopefully. Granted, Knuckles is fun, but it's not a great story, and I could have let I could have let it go. If they do something with, I don't know, Shadow or something, and it's just as kind of meh of a story, I could see that being kind of an annoyance. Although I would take a Tails story, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So,
but yeah, franchise fatigue is always an issue once you start getting over three entries in a franchise.
Exactly. So apparently on March 4th, there is a movie, or correction, a anime that's coming from G Kids. Ghost Cat Orzona, ANZU.
ANZU?
Yeah, ANZU.
Anzu?
Anzu, thank you. Anzu coming to Blu-ray from G Kids, distributed by Shout Factory, Shout Studios, following the successful theatrical run in the U.S. this past November. Bonus features for the release include teasers and trailers. The film is also available on digital platforms including Amazon, Google, Apple, Fandango, Microsoft, and Indie Demand on January 28th. I think I saw a little bit of this. It looks interesting. Looks like an interesting little movie.
Yeah, it looks like it was a Fathom event back in November.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it.
All right, so the synopsis of this film is promiscuous tween Karen finds herself abandoned by her father in rural Japan, living in a temple with her grandmother. She meets Anzu, a giant ghost cat, and notorious layabout tasked with looking after her.
So I'm looking at the movie poster right now and seeing the image of this ghost cat, Anzu. It's like if Japan had only heard about Garfield and a vague description, and then someone decided to draw the cat based on that description, is what this character looks like.
Yeah,
See?
yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen him. That is a very, I think he's not drawn so cartoony, but he's like, I get where you're going with that. All right, so to continue with the synopsis, distrustful of her new guardian, Karen sabotages Anzu's odd job for the townsfolk and befriends a egocentric local forest spirit. In an effort to win Karen over, Anzu accidentally makes a deal with the devil, and all hell breaks loose. So that sounds like an interesting little film. So, like, it may go on the list. I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting little piece of info for people to
Apparently it was filmed first in live action, and then they rotoscoped the animation on top of it.
Really?
That's what I'm seeing on Wikipedia,
Interesting.
for what that's worth.
Interesting. All right, so jumping a little bit ahead, on January 10th, Universal Pictures has announced updates on its animated feature slate, as well as key creative appointments for the next chapter of the fan favorite franchise Shrek. DreamWorks Animation Shrek 5 is pushed back from July 1st, 2026 to Wednesday, December 23rd, 2026 with a worldwide release. Meanwhile, Illumination's Minions 3 has been moved up from June 3rd, 2027 to July 1st, 2026. Again, franchise fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying. Eventually, this is all of this is going to burn, or it's going to fade into obscurity, and you're going to have, oh yeah, Shrek was a good film until they made 8 of them.
Well, it has been a bit since the last Shrek, quote unquote Shrek film, unless
Agreed.
you're going to count Puss in Boots as being. And granted, it's the same franchise, but
Yes.
they have treated Puss in Boots like a separate character. Really, since he almost since he first appeared. 'Cause
Yes.
I think there was a Puss in Boots movie that came out fairly quickly.
Yes, Last Wish.
Well, I mean, there's one before. There's a Puss in Boots movie that came out before that.
Yes.
And I can't remember when it happened, but so yeah, that's definitely its own franchise for the most part.
Yes.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. You do run the risk of franchise fatigue with Shrek 5 because honestly, I don't know where that story could go at this point without it just feeling like more of the same.
Yeah. Well, they had said at one point they were going to reboot the series.
Yeah, and granted, we haven't watched past the first one for the show.
Right.
But I remember the third one being disappointing and the fourth one being okay.
Yeah, it was a
But
Yes.
it's not been. I mean, the first and second films were definitely the best ones they did, and I just don't know how you recover from how poorly they've done it because they've pretty much played their hand, short of doing a full reboot.
Yes. All right, so going on to January 2nd, Animation has a... I just read that wrong. Animation had a... Bofov? I'm saying that wrong. International Box Office Weekend with... Bafo. Yeah.
Assuming I'm looking... I'm
Yeah.
Oh, BAFTA.
BAFTA. Oh, okay.
The
BAFTA.
British Academy of Film, Television, and something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the last A is. Anyway.
Yeah. I thought BAFTA was spelled differently, but yeah. It looks like BAFTA. BAFTA.
Yeah, but
Bafo.
they pronounce it BAFTA.
BAFTA. Okay. International Box Office Weekend with the fully animated Moana 2 on track to pass $1 million. Let's see here. It's like, yes. That'll make... Moana 2 will mark Disney's third 2024 release that'll hit $1 billion as the only studio with any big B movies for that year. Let's see. I saw this one is going to be very interesting for those who are a lover of Macross or Robotech. Thank you. For apparently a mass drop of Macross anime episodes and movies are available now as of January 12th on Hulu in the United States, offering American fans a binge destination for this sci-fi classic. Placeholders for the streamer were spotted by fans earlier that week. No, that's hold on, because I know how to spell BAFTA. This is that wasn't even the right word.
I may have just jumped.
Yeah, BOFFO.
Okay, that would be BAFO.
Yeah, BAFO.
Sorry, I glanced and saw the acronym and thought, oh, he must have meant BAFTA.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No, you're good. All right, so speaking of BAFTA, final nominations for the 2025 EE BAFTA Film Awards were announced that morning on January 12th. Armand Animation, Wallace Gromit, Revenge, Most Foul, managed a rare achievement by not only earning one of the coveted animation category nominations, but also landed an outstanding British film lists with 9 live-action films. These 3 titles, listed titles for the animated film BAFTA, Foul, Wallace and Gromit, Revenge Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. Also received nominations in the New Children's and Family Film category. In addition, acclaimed UK animated house Lupus Films were able to earn 2 nominations in 2 separate categories, with its acclaimed feature Kinsuro's Kingdom, Family and Friends film, and Moog's Family, an animated short. BAFTAs will be held on February 18th, with David Tennant hosting in London. All right, moviegoers with another apparently. So moviegoers at that time on January 17th, they were going to hold on, I'm not going to read this right. Moviegoers had another chance to take in the big screen worth that didn't make any sense. The Wild Robot was re-released in theaters by Universal Pictures on Friday, January 17th. Let's see. Oh, here's one that's interesting. The Royal Shakespeare Company had announced that its stage production of Hayao Miyazaki's animated classic, My Neighbor Totoro, Totorosshow.com, will be returning to London's West Side. This engagement at the Gilden Lynn Theatre on from March 8th through November 2nd will feature a brand new performance as well as returning stars. So if you live in London, you might want to go see this show. All right. Oh yeah. Stepping up to the streaming platform next month, being in February. Win or Lose, Pixar Animated Studios' first ever original series. A trailer for the new series, as well as character key art and stills, were revealed on January. January, somewhere around this month. What have you?
It released sometime in January.
Yes, it did. Launching on Disney Plus on February 19th, Win or Lose, features stories of 8 different characters as they each prepare for their big championship softball game. The insecure kid, the helicopter parents, even the lovesick umpire. That's weird. But yeah. Win or Lose coming to Disney Plus on February 19th. All right, a little more Moana news from January 20th. It's official. Moana 2 is Disney's animated latest feature, has surpassed $1 billion. That this weekend, as of January 20th, brought in an additional $7.89 million with its overseas market, for an international total of $572.1 million, in addition to domestic takings of $442.8 million through that Sunday, for a worldwide collective of $1.1 billion so far, making good on its multi-record setting opening in November. Let's see. Getting to the last bit of news, this is also including Moana 2. Fans can now experience Moana and Maui's latest adventure at home on Disney's Moana 2, available on digital retailers Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango at home. The digital release will be followed by a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD physical set on March 18th. The sequel is the third highest grossing film of 2024 and recently crossed the $1 billion mark, as we stated earlier. The fourth Disney animated features studio film ever to do so, that with the likes of Frozen, Zootopia, and Frozen 2. The digital and Blu-ray release go far beyond, with hours of exclusive content for the whole family, featuring a full-length sing-along version. Of course, they got to put that in there, with deleted scenes, featurettes, and more. The 4K UHD will also be available with collectible limited series blue steel book with custom art and packaging. So the last bit of news: Academy Award-winning distributor GKIDS announced today, as of January 28th, that beginning this year, it will issue a partnership with Shout Studios for a all-new 4K UHD release of the award-winning director, the guy who did Summer Wars.
Mamoru
Hosoda. Again, I'm going to butcher that name. I apologize. With his early catalog, the first titles in the series to receive the reissues are the Oscar-nominated directors 2008 of Summer Wars on April 1st.
Finally.
Yes, thank you. And the critically acclaimed 2012 hit Wolf Children on April 5th. These are available for pre-order. The new home entertainment release will be present with new artwork and a 4K UHD steelbook version and a standard Blu-ray version and digital download to own platforms. So that's all I have in the news for January 2025.
I do not have anything to add because you stole my last one. I knew about the Summer Wars one, and with it being Wolf Children and all that, I'm assuming Funimation still had a lot of those licenses, and when they got bought by Crunchyroll, and there's probably some back and forth trying to get all that figured out. But glad that people are finally going to be able to get a hold of those movies now.
Yes, agreed.
So, Jacob.
Yes.
I have one more question for you, though if you prefer me starting, I fully understand, but...
What have you been watching?
So what have you been watching?
So what have I been watching? So, this was, to me, it was like, for me and Ashley, it was kind of an impromptu date, because apparently she has been listening to, it's a certain podcast that has not Will Wheaton. Oh crap, he played Ron Stoppable. He played Terry McGinnis.
Will Friedle.
Will Friedle. I always forget his name. Will Friedle. She's been listening to a podcast where they kind of go over and review Disney Channel films.
Yeah.
And so Will Friedle was in this film. It's I think it was called I'm Dating the President's Daughter. And we watched that. I can't remember where we watched it. She found it. It was like, oh, okay. So apparently she really enjoyed that film. So I was like, okay, we'll watch that. That's an interesting little film from the 90s. Let's just say that. All right. We went and watched when it was in theaters. I was actually informed this morning, before coming over here to record this, that Wicked Part 1 will be coming out, I think it's February 4th or 2nd, one of those. So we have, like, me and Ashley have both watched Wicked twice already, just saying.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, no one warns the wicked, right? All right, so another film she was just happened to be watching, and I found very fascinating, was a film that Netflix had dropped, I think at the beginning of January, I believe, was Carry On. That was a really good film. Really, really good film.
Okay. So I don't know it.
Okay, it's a bag scanner at, I think it's LAX, is forced to comply to a terrorist in order to for his For his loved ones will not be harmed.
Okay.
So one of those situations. It's good. Do not get me wrong. So I was rewatching CW's Arrow, which is also on Netflix. I was kind of rewatching that. I remember watching The Mummy, the 2099 with Brendan Fraser. I always love that film. Be like, if I see it, I'm gonna watch it again because I love that movie. It's this good blend of action, comedy, adventure. That's just really, really good. And last but not least, a coworker whom I've worked with for about a year, I believe, year or so. Apparently, every time we start talking, we talk about movies, and then we start talking about Dragon Ball for some weird reason.
It happens.
It does. And so we started just mentioning and be like, because he's started to get back into it and he's really enjoying it. And I decided to start watching Dragon Ball Z Kai on Disney Plus, of all places. Because it's there through the Hulu.
It's there through Hulu.
Yeah. So here's an interesting fact. For some reason, it has the entire series, but it only starts with episode 2.
That is weird.
That is weird. I agree. I just thought it was odd.
I mean, did you watch episode 1 elsewhere? Or did you just start with episode 2?
I just started with episode 2.
You're really not missing much.
No.
The only difference I know in between Kai episode 1 and the original Z is that they do go in and say, by the way, here's what happened in all of the original Dragon Ball, kind of a
right.
Just a quick thing, and it actually does start with Frieza blowing up Planet Vegeta. So some shots traced from Bardock, the father of Goku.
Oh, okay.
Which, of course, when 4Kids aired it over here, they had to take out all the blood because there was a lot of blood.
Gotcha.
Except for the blood that was soaked into Bardock's bandana. They didn't bother with that one because you can't really tell, I guess. But either way.
So that is all I've been watching. How about yourself?
Well, along, of course, with the movies that we and the episodes that we watched for the podcast, I have been working slowly through a franchise watch through of Star Trek. I think I brought that up on the way back when, but I am currently nearing the end of season 4 of The Next Generation.
Okay.
And one of the things I find interesting about this is there's a point in time when you realize that the show is starting to lay some groundwork for Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
That starts airing during like a season and a half from when I started noticing, because all of a sudden, boom, Miles O'Brien is now an important enough character that he gets his own episodes. All of a sudden, boom, Cardassians are introduced. And then I just watched an episode with the Trill. So it's like, okay, y'all are laying some groundwork, I can tell, for an upcoming series.
Yeah.
And I knew it was coming. I was just waiting for it to happen. But I remember it's just interesting watching this like nowadays, because a lot of these episodes I know I watched maybe at least once, but I would have been too young for it to register.
Okay.
Because, this started airing in 88. I was born in 85. My parents were watching the show. I was in the room, but I don't remember anything until about season 6 of this show. So it's interesting.
Makes sense.
And so most of these shows, most of these episodes, if I have seen them, it's been was during reruns. So there's some of these I know because I've seen them a couple times in more recent, but a couple of these has just never popped back up again and go, oh, this is an interesting little story. I don't remember this one. And I have about decided that I do not like Lwaxana Troi, which is Deanna's mother. I've decided I don't like her episodes, even though she's played by Majel Barrett, the wife of Star Trek's creator Gene Roddenberry.
Interesting.
Well, trivia there. Other than that, I of course been watching some Dragon Ball Daima as it's come out. I watched up to Goku getting the first Dragon Ball in the demon world in Japanese, and then schedule. You know how Christmas is. It's very easy to start missing stuff when missing first run stuff. And so I noticed that the English dub is finally coming out, so I'm rewatching those now in English. And it's actually a very interesting show. It takes place like immediately after the Boo Saga. So in fact, there's a lot of the opening scenes are redrawn scenes from the Boo Saga as the villains are scoping out Earth, kind of to see what happened to their old leader Dabura.
Oh, okay.
You know, the guy that looked like the devil during the Boo
yeah,
Saga.
the big guy.
The big guy.
Yeah.
And then finding out, oh, he's dead. And so it is interesting watching it. It's a good show. I'm going to go ahead and suggest it. And you don't have to have watched Super, because Super takes place after this. But things that were there are many little drops, lore drops in there that that at least hint that, okay, yeah, Super stuff is known. But anyway, so I've watched that. I've also, what else have I watched? So last week on the podcast, we reviewed the episode "Beware the Grey Ghost."
Yes, we did.
And as you all know, that has Adam West guest starring in that as the Grey Ghost. And I made the whole little joke about, oh yeah, I buy my Adam West superhero TV shows on Blu-ray also, because it looked like what Bruce Wayne bought at the end of that was a Blu-ray box set of the Grey Ghost.
Yeah.
With like 10 years before Blu-ray even was on anyone's mind. But I was inspired to actually go back and watch some classic 1960s Batman.
Of course.
Starring Adam West and Burt Ward. Along with, I think the episodes I watched had Burgess Meredith as the Penguin and Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. It was very fun. It's not something I would just, if you've been raised on modern Batman and you can't imagine a comedic Batman story being good, I'm not going to tell you to go watch this. But if you just like Batman and want to see some fun Batman stuff, I would suggest going back and watching it. Other than that, just random shows on YouTube for the most part. I did watch. My mind just went blank. Anyway, I think that's about all I've been watching, if we're being honest.
Fair.
I have been reading a book, or listening to an audiobook, about Marion C. Cooper, the director of King Kong.
Okay.
That's actually been a very interesting book. The book is called Living Dangerously. This guy is like the closest thing we have to a real live action, a real living Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Because he fought in World War I and World War II. He did his 3 earliest movies were shot on location in the far reaches of the earth. Like one of them was shot in the Middle East back when it was still very wild.
Yeah.
There's some stuff they shot in Malaysia, and it's been interesting. It's been a fun little book to read. So I would suggest that if you're looking for just a fun nonfiction book that seems crazier than real life. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I've been watching.
Alrighty.
So that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Hopefully we will get y'all another one in February. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
To follow Jacob and Drew's individual internet exploits, check out the Linktree links in the show notes. You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter or X at @cast_cell. Follow our Facebook page, The Cellcast Podcast, and join our Facebook group, The Cell Nation, our YouTube channel, Cellcast, and our Rumble channel, the Cellcast Gaming. You can join us every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central for our live recordings of our episodes on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. You can also join Drew on those same streaming channels on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central for gaming streams. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts can be downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. Our bad movie theme is It's Party Time by Gregory Snegoff, with additional audio from the film Titanic: The Legend Goes On and Remember That Cell with a single L.